Hey there folks, and welcome back for another weekend shave and soapbox session. And today we're going to continue on with the Shavecraft 102 on the magnificent Jurgen Hempel titanium wave handle. Used this yesterday, but I didn't talk too much about it, so I'll try to touch on it more at the end of this shave. Of course, you know the Plasan brush of the gods, and a cream here that's new to me, just something I wanted to try. This was recommended to me some years back in the Badger and Blade form, or I happened to see someone using it, and I never used it, and I happened to see it on Amazon and said, what the hell, we'll pick it up. So I have no idea what to expect. It's biotique or biotic, or who the hell knows? Biotique, I would say. So let's go ahead and take the cap off here. And it's one of those where there's a lot of cream stuck on the lid, so we'll wet our brush. And once again, I'll show you guys, synthetic brushes do hold water. They don't absorb it, but they do hold it. All right, let's load up a little bit, and then we'll get going. Shave yesterday with the Shavecraft 102. It was good. It wasn't as smooth as I expected, but again, you know, I've learned you need to evaluate a razor over a number of shaves, let's say, 30 or more. So we'll keep going with it, and maybe it will smooth out as my technique with it improves. We're loaded up, so let's wet the face and get going. The scent on this, it's just a mildly scented, I can't really describe it. It's really not anything memorable in terms of scent. Just kind of smells clean. It does have a nice, pleasant scent, but it's not. This is not a cream you're going to want to buy just on the basis of scent. I just bought it because I happened to see someone using it a long time ago, and it popped up on Amazon. I said, what the hell? Let's give it a shot. Been getting more into creams lately because I just enjoy them. A little easier to deal with than soaps, and makes it a little quicker in some mornings. Not that that matters, because we're in a hobby here where we're taking our time, but it's just, makes the lathering process a little more expeditious. Lather feels good, and it feels good on my face. That's for sure. It feels nice and silky. And there are those who say you can't tell anything by lather on your face, and that's not true. You can absolutely tell a lot when you're lathering before you ever put razor to face, in my opinion. All right, so let's get going. On the soapbox today, we're going to talk a little bit, once again, about politics, and not party politics, but rather how lethargic we are. And one of the things I want to mention is I had a gentleman write a note to me, and he said, when you're on the soapbox, sometimes it can come across that you're talking down to people. And he's absolutely right. So when I'm saying these things, I realize this does not apply to everyone, but it does apply to some of you, and you know who you are. So for those of you this doesn't apply to, press on, continue to watch, thumbs up if you want to. And for the rest of you, take notice. There's good information being passed here. All right, so stand by just a moment and we'll come back for pass two. So specifically what I want to touch on in this video is, there was a video the other day that I found relating to firearms and the gun show loophole. And the reason I bring up guns a lot is not only because I'm a firm believer in the Second Amendment, but it's one of the most common subjects where disinformation is passed by ignorant people. And when I say ignorant, I'm using the classical definition, not knowing. Doesn't mean you're stupid, just means you don't know any better. Now, when it comes to the politicians, I would suggest that some of them probably know better, and they still pass on this information because they know our lethargic, lazy portion, a lethargic and lazy portion of our voting population will take anything they say as the gospel without checking it out for themselves. And this video that I'm going to link in the comments, and I'll put a link right here, is a perfect illustration of that. Whereas this gentleman uses a hidden camera, and he goes out to these gun shows trying to buy guns and gun shops without a background check. And he's trying his best to do so, and he can't do it. Now, something that's important to know, I've never been to a gun show where you could buy a firearm without a permit. But I don't know if some states, if that's legal or possible or not. But this gentleman could not. Excuse me. And the point I'm trying to make here is the information that's being passed down, primarily by politicians and people who are opposed to the Second Amendment or afraid of guns, is you can just go anywhere and buy a gun without a background check. And in most cases, that is not true. Additionally, you'll see in this video, one politician after another flat out lying, making statements that are not true related to this issue, passing absolute false information. Stand by and we'll continue. One after the other, up to and including the President of the United States. At one point, the President is from the city of Chicago, which has pretty strict gun laws in the city, and has some of the strongest gun laws in the country in terms of control, but yet it has some of the highest murder rates as a result of gun violence. And the President would have you believe that these people are going across the border. And keep in mind, this gun violence is primarily in urban areas where it's related to drugs, poor economics, etc. And the President would have you believe that these folks are going across the Indiana border to gun shows and buying these weapons for use in crime. I don't know about you, but if you've ever been to a gun show, you won't see a lot of gangsters and drug dealers at gun shows, or at least I haven't. Maybe there are in Indiana, but somehow I doubt that. So anyway, in the video, the guy goes to the very same site, or one of, in Indiana, where the President references as people are crossing the Indiana border and getting guns to use in violent crimes. And he goes in and he can't buy a gun without a background check. And he tries every way possible. And time after time he's told it's against the law, it's a felony, blah, 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 blah. So the point I'm trying to make here is these people, up into and including the highest office of the land, offices, will pass information to you that are absolutely and patently false. And what makes it worse is ignorant people on Facebook, etc., and memes and what have you, memes, whatever you want to call it, they will keep circulating this information. And it spreads ignorance, and people buy into that ignorance. And it's an easy way to subject people when you can just pass any kind of information and they'll share it and people will believe it without checking. You'll see politician after politician, again, referencing Bloomberg, for example, the nanny-in-chief, ex-mayor of New York City, the guy that wanted to ban large sodas. He explains that handguns, you have to pull the trigger. They're not automatic. But assault rifles, ARs, which are not really assault rifles, as we discussed in one of our videos, you pull the trigger and it just fires automatically without pulling the trigger again, which is false. Civilian ARs, which stands for armalite rifle, not assault rifle, are not automatic. And it's illegal to try to modify one to make them automatic, and that will send you to prison. Yet the mayor of New York City gets up there and explains the difference between automatic and semi-automatic, and and basically says pistols are semi-auto and all ARs are automatic. And he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, or he's deliberately spreading falsehoods. I don't know which. Probably a little of both. I don't know. Stand by, we'll come back with the post. All right. So my point here is, folks, if you care about an issue, regardless of which side you're on, it's important that you go and do the research and find out what the hell's going on. Don't take the word of these people who get up there with motives, because they're going to tell you any and everything, and some of you are going to buy it and spread it, and you're doing their bidding, spreading ignorance, which is the worst possible case scenario. You're not doing anybody any favors by doing this. Stand by. I realized I didn't bring an aftershave today. Stand by. All right, so today we're going to use Sterling Margaritas in the Arctic, which is a nice smelling aftershave. Sterling has good aftershaves, by the way, even if you don't like the soap. I really like the aftershaves. I like the soap too now, but I find their aftershaves to be very good as well. Anyway, back to my point. Do your research. Do your homework. Any issue that is really important to you, you should do yourself right by knowing what you're talking about. And issues as important as firearms. It's important to be right. That's why I say, a clip in a magazine, you need to be right when you're talking about important issues. Close isn't good enough. Close is what causes a lot of confusion, ignorance, and bad legislation. All right, let's get back on the shave here. Shavecraft 102, it did better this time, a little smoother than yesterday. Still not the smoothest for me, but I would assume over the next month, I'll probably take to it as my technique gets better and it'll smooth out a little bit. The blade in this one, by the way, was crystal, which I like. Well, that's it actually for the shave today and SoapBox. I hope I wasn't coming down off the soapbox too hard today or talking down to you guys. Just realized I'm probably only talking to a few of you, but you get passionate about things that are important, and to me, there's nothing more important than being informed as it comes to politics, regardless of the issue. If you're going to speak on it, please, please, please be informed. Just don't find the narrative that supports your particular point of view and roll with it without checking the facts. All right, guys, thanks as always for watching. You guys stay safe and have a great day.